Hey YouTube, it's Mike here. I had talked a while ago about moving my aquaponics system inside, and last night I finally got to it. Being as there's fish and live plants and all that stuff involved and a couple of bigger tanks, apparently it takes more effort. I think I pretty well worked on this a lot of the day. I did build kind of a custom rustic shelf here, 6 legs, try and distribute the weight, and yeah, my floor is not level, so there were some shims involved. So you can basically see I've got my tomato section here that's got the one celery plant. For whatever reason I did that. That's actually this piece of celery core that I saved from cooking something, and then I got some celery here that I had pulled out of the garden. Now it looks pretty poor, but I think now that it's separated out, it's going to come along much better. I don't know if I ever showed. This is just a regular piece of like hardwood board. This is actually some bandage material, and then we have our root system hanging down into the water here. Oddly, the fish seem to kind of like hanging out in the roots and different things. It's kind of fun. And I mean, really, this celery looks a bit pale, but I am contributing that mostly to light, because when you look at the stuff that was kind of blocking it here, this one end tomato, I pulled him out. He was kind of stuck back down in, and he wasn't doing super well. But now that I got him out, like there's this guy here. I mean, this is a shoot, this is a sucker basically coming off, and the stem comes down and around, and it's just huge in here. I actually think I'm gonna have to trim some of this stuff out, or maybe even string it up a little, because like there's a bunch of greenery just blocking everything. I did do this on an inside wall. There's our main door, which has a big window, 2 main big picture window type things behind me, and the kitchen window. All are going to be able to allow light to hit this central location, kind of in the middle of the house where the heat comes up the center a little bit more. I figure that's going to give me a little better temperatures overall, and it's going to allow more of a general light. I do think I'm going to end up above somewhere putting in some sort of a light. Like today it's cloudy and rainy. It's not dark in here, but it's definitely not overly bright. And there is more of the system I would like to build. I've got a couple of pumps and stuff, and I'll get into that, and some big trays, and I want to get going on some indoor lettuce and what have you for as the winter goes on, for something to eat, or just to say I did it maybe. There are the other tanks in the house that I can utilize as well, so I don't know if I will for sure run huge amounts more out of this. I'm still basically in like the prototyping, trying things out stage, and I have had fairly positive results. There's other videos on my channel about the aquaponics setup. Some guys had talked about, and I wanted to mention too, about light and roots and how they don't tend to get along, and I gotta say that I haven't actually noticed an issue with that. I went into this knowing that there could be an issue with light on the roots. You can see there's a bit of green in this section here, but I don't even know if that's as much about the direct sunlight, as this is such a big mass of root that like a lot of my other root masses that are a little more thin, there's a lot more activity going on. And I do have some snails in these tanks, and I have the mollies, which will eat a bit of algae. And I am actually thinking I may end up getting a pleco or an algae eater of some sort for each tank. This tank here that had a little more direct sunlight, which I was going to clean when I brought it in, and I never even thought of it. It was getting so late. I just wanted to get the water in it to get it heated up, and then I got sidetracked and I didn't get it cleaned up. It's got a lot of green actually on the glass. Makes it kind of hard to see, and it is cleaning up now. Just since overnight, so I guess these mollies have been eating it up. I also saw a bunch of snails on there yesterday. All the fresh water, I mean, this is basically 100% water change, and everything's been swabbed around in about 24 hours, which is probably not recommended, but I've gotten away with it. By the looks of things, I don't think I've had... There was the one fish out of all of these things that didn't look 100%, and I can't even find him now. So whether he's gone off to hide or decided to get better, I'm not sure. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. It's going to keep growing. As far as the actual overall, I would love to see this entire kind of big blank wall here just covered in green that's growing, and see what happens. I guess it's time to finish organizing stuff. It's getting awfully late in the year. I got to get stuff. I actually had some plastic over this set up for a while in my shop just because it was getting so cold, and it was I was afraid that I knew the heaters in the tanks weren't keeping up the way they could, and I know that it was starting to cause a bit of droopiness on occasion with the plants when it would get so cold, although they seem to have fared fairly well since then. So anyway, let me know what you think, or if you want to try something like this. I'll explain more how I did stuff. Yeah, we'll talk to you.